Oh, are we going to talk about that necklace? Can we talk about the second grader's friendship bracelet he reveals as a sign of voodoo?
Eats a few Fruit Loops during the segment.
Also candles. If you see candles at a crime site, probably Satanists right there. Oils.
Yeah. Also colors. He goes, voodoo is colorful. So police, look for things on the visible light spectrum when you're out investigating.
God-awful movies.
Welcome back to the GAMcast, where each week we sample another selection from Christian cinema because every so often you're rewarded with the kind of deadly serious bat-shittery we're going to talk about today. I'm your host, Noah Lugeons, and sitting to my immediate left is my good friend Heath Enwright. Heath, welcome back.
Thanks, Noah. You know what they don't make into movies enough?
What's that?
Glossaries. Also indices. Really just long strings of text in general, missing from the art form.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Apropos of nothing.
We're going to change that.
You have not seen Magnolia.
And that's my bad friend sitting 81 miles to my right, Eli Bosnick. Eli, how are you this fine afternoon, sir?
Hi, do you enjoy podcasts? Well, then you will enjoy this podcast.
All right. Well, we've hinted around quite a bit.
That's the format of the movie. Glossaries plus what Eli just did.
Yep, that's it. So, Heath, make it official. What will we be breaking down today?
We watched The Law Enforcement Guide to Satanic Cults.
My God.
It's the story of what happens when a cop gets pushed out of the department for being a weird, obnoxious child and becomes a pastor. Then he buys a camcorder in 1993 and uses the rest of his $5 allowance to produce an instructional video about policing imaginary cults.
Oh, my.
Pretty great.
Oh, it was fucking amazing, and not just the hairdos. And Eli, how bad was this movie?
Well, if you loved Blood on the Road, but you wish it was about the fact that 1 out of 4 cars turn into a dragon and eat you, you will love this movie. Blood on the Toad, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, dude, this was so fucking insane. Now, I should point out, I grew up right in the Satanic Panic, and I was in Detroit, Michigan for a lot of it, where there was, a lot of that shit. But then I went to South Georgia, where they were way scared of it, and there was none of it. And my dad was a police officer in Detroit in the 80s and constantly dealt with people calling the department and going damn Satanist is coming back. I'm pretty sure they're out in the woods again tonight. Now, if for those who don't know about the Satanic Panic, it was never real. There was never anything. Nope. Nothing at all. And yet people were terrified for 20 solid years of these underground baby-eating cults.
Wait, I saw The Crow. None of this ever happened in Detroit? I'm pretty sure that's the truth. That's a documentary about what happened in Detroit.
Some of it. Well, there were piles of cocaine that big.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like in the 80s, everyone forgot that occasionally crazy people kill people.
Uh-huh.
And you can't just keep saying, and then what happened to victims of child abuse. That's the Satanic Panic.
Exactly. Now, and look, this was on official levels. I was warned about Satanists at school multiple times, both by teachers and by specialists that were brought in for assemblies to warn us of the danger signs of Satanists.
Oh.
The entire country was afraid to look under the bed for 20 fucking years over a goddamn imaginary boogeyman. And meantime, by the way, the goddamn churches that were promoting this were raping all the kids.
Yeah. Now we know that who's doing the raping? The Catholic Church was doing they made an Oscar-nominated winning movie about it, actually.
Yeah,
all about
absolutely.
Who was doing that? We figured it out. Who was doing the raping?
So
it's solved.
Hey, Donald, tweet him. He's on Twitter right now. I'm sure. Doesn't really matter when you're listening to this. All right. So is there anything you guys want to nominate this one for being the best at being the worst at?
Yeah, I got a couple things, actually. I'm going to say best worst. The movie is a glossary. I can't stress this enough. We watched a motion picture of a glossary made by an adult with a second grade reading level. The whole thing's 75 minutes. An hour is literal text.
Yeah, something like that.
Also, best worst, ignoring swastikas.
Yeah.
2 different times they show a swastika in this movie, and the person talking is like, that's a 666, mark of the beast, and next to that is 2, 3. Did the audience go away? Are they gone?
Yeah.
Ducks under the frame, smoke bomb. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, like, you got to be worried about this symbol here. This is some kind of plus sign with some kind of psoriasis. I don't know. And then this sign over here, that's also satanic. Yeah.
Chinese star, parachute. God.
I was just going to give it best worst sweater. And like, think about how many different sweaters I could be talking about. The guy who made this movie had a collection of, oh, you got me a sweaters.
Yeah.
And she showed us all of them.
He had a walk-in closet of loud-ass Cosby sweaters, and he was like, I am using these.
I want a postmodern college student wearing a black turtleneck to argue with me about how his sweaters are on purpose. That's what I want. I have 2. I want to go with best worst source of information.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get to who one of the people who educates you in this movie is. So I'm not going to spoil that now, but just we're in for a ride. And secondly, best worst music for the moment. While examining the supposed dead body of a sacrifice victim, it's like,
oh, I want to throw out one more best worst, which is best. No, you know what? This is not even a best worst. This is just best closing moment. Stick around all the way to the end. The last line before the final scene of this movie is the greatest moment in the history of god-awful movies. It's the reason we do this show. If there had been no point to it up through the first 108 episodes, it would all be worthwhile for the closing minutes of this episode. Oh my God, I loved it so much. All right, well, on the other side of this interstitial break is vital, life-saving information that could save your baby from murder rape. So we promise to keep it quick, and when we come back, we'll dive headfirst into the national insanity that inspired the Law Enforcement Guide to Satanic Cults. Oh, all right. So what I'm thinking, Eli, when Heath gets here, okay, like during the C segment especially.
Hey, fellas. You ready to record?
Just Heath?
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
Oh, this? Just, getting comfy.
Dude, it seems that you have bungee corded yourself to your Casper mattress.
Yep.
Okay, I'll be the one. Why did you bungee cord yourself to your Casper mattress?
It's just too comfortable to give up, my bros. It's the best.
Heath, look, I mean, I know the Casper is an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price, and ever since you got your Casper mattress, you've had a better night's sleep. But
I'm sorry, Noah, a better night's sleep? No, the best night's sleep. The product design features a marriage between foam layers for ideal firmness, just the right sink, and just the right bounce. And since I opened mine, I've slept better, longer, and healthier.
I mean, definitely longer. That's pretty proven.
I need my 22 hours.
Look, Heath,
you know this.
We actually have an ad for Casper on this week's show, but if you have a Casper mattress attached to you, we won't be able to tell the folks at home about Casper's affordable price because Casper sells direct to its consumers, the free shipping and returns to the U.S. and Canada, the 100-night free trial, the no-hassle returns if you're not happy, and the over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars. It's quickly becoming the internet's favorite mattress based on Casper, Amazon, and Google reviews.
Plus, it's designed, developed, and assembled in the USA.
I know. Okay, well, only if I can get to tell the folks how they can try their Casper mattress. Then
sure, yeah, absolutely, dude. They even get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/awful and using promo code AWFUL at checkout. Terms and conditions apply.
That's Casper.com/awful and using the promo code AWFUL at checkout, you say? All right, let's do it.
And you're going to want to put on some clothes.
No deal.
Not a deal.
Just 0 votes. Come forth, Baphomet.
Who calls me?
We, the podcasters of God Awful.
What?
Heath.
Sorry.
The podcasters of god-awful movies call upon you.
I'm sorry.
Who dares mock Baphomet?
Look at him. Sorry. It's just you have boobies. You know you have boobies, right?
But boobies?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Goat God with a woman's breasts and angel's wings and a candle between its horns sounds badass, but now that I see you, you just have boobs. I mean,
no way around that. Also, is it hot?
What?
The candle, is it hot to have that?
Yeah. And also, do you have to light it, or is it just magic and you can like flick it on?
No, I light it, but well, now I feel super self-conscious.
Baphomet, don't. It's cool.
No, like I'm all out of it now. Do you guys have like a t-shirt I could throw on or something?
Oh yeah, no, of course. Here you go, buddy.
All right, watch.
We're really sorry. Sorry.
It's fine.
Right.
It's fine.
Go over the horn.
Watch,
over the horn.
Just watch the candle. It's fine.
No, I get it. Yeah.
What is this? A small?
It's a medium.
Right. Need to eat a few less souls, I guess.
Yeah. So anyway, we were
right. Sorry. What do you ask of Baphomet? Seriously?
Sorry. He's wearing your dinosaur shirt. I can't do this.
Heath.
You know what? Never mind. I don't care about the circle or the pentagram. You guys are assholes. I'm out of here.
Baphomet, it's just Heath. Heath. Now, how are we going to seal Thomas Smith's butthole shut, huh? I did this whole thing.
Glue? I want to say glue.
And we're back for the breakdown. And if you went into this movie like I did, unsure of whether or not you would love it, the opening title card will dispose any of those lingering doubts that you might have had. Basically, it starts off saying, so you got this here out of the gun video catalog, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, if this tape was broken, let us know.
Right. The disclaimer's literally like, look, we get it. We fuck up a lot. Just let us know. We'll make it right.
If you're buying things from gun video catalog, I feel like it's time to re-examine your choices. Like, what do you do? And if you're selling something and it appears next to like perfect for goths who get bullied, like also a bad sign if that's a product that's next to your product.
Also, if you're doing a movie and your soundtrack is Somebody's Kid with a Casio, maybe want to re-examine as well while we're re-examining.
It's like someone tried to make church bells appealing to the disco generation.
Also, I love the disclaimer after the I'm sure this is probably broken disclaimer. They have one that says, this is going to be some pretty graphic shit, y'all. There's going to be a penis.
There will be a surprise dick. You're never ready.
Yeah.
I could give you the minute and the second and you still wouldn't be ready.
Where do you guys think the dick's going to be? We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you. It's going to be somewhere.
I already told you the end was going to be great. That's all I'm saying now. I'm throwing you off the trail.
No one ever tunes in when we do this show live.
I don't mean in the time dimension either. They'll tell us spatially where it's going to be. You'll find out.
All right. So we're going to start off meeting Gordon Coulter. I said, I had in my notes, imagine a hamster but as a middle-aged man in a grandma sweater, and you're there.
I have him as Wallace Shawn's racist dad, and he looks like Wilford Brimley is here to talk to you about where exactly think you're going, young lady.
And kind of like all those NFL coaches to get like Andy Reid got deflated and all the other ones, like Mike Holmgren and like just a composite of all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like the Jump to Conclusions map guy also, but like
okay, yeah.
Did a little Atkins, smells like pee.
All right, so and he's half cop, half pastor, this guy. It's like a superhero, but the opposite. And he's here to tell us about the dangers of satanic cults. You see, in his words, this is a learning and educational tape.
And I cannot emphasize enough how much you should watch this movie.
You really should.
Look, I know not everyone watches the movie with us. You listen to your podcast, you work at a factory, whatever you do. But you need to quit your job and you need to watch this movie every day, all day, for the rest of your life, because then you will understand the insane way this person talks. This person talks like I type Punctuation need not apply. He's like someone took all the beats from a Christopher Walken impersonation, but just refused to change the voice. He's like, in satanic occultism, that which is bad is good, and that which is good is bad. I was like, man, this is a bad robot.
Yep. The Hall of Presidents has really gone downhill. Yeah.
And he seems confused about how this works. Is it really like opposite day the religion? Is that how Satanism works? Like, what about that rule? Isn't that rule part of satanic occultism?
And now it's regular day. God damn it. Yeah.
I was sure he was just going to keep listing opposites so we'd get it. Because he sounded like it was like a sophisticated concept is what he thought. Like he just learned about opposites in his night school kindergarten, and like that's what he was teaching us today.
Right. No, I was expecting a few Dr. Seuss verses here in the citation. And I love to, okay, so if you get past the fact that he's saying Satanism is opposite day of Christianity, he also like throws in, he's like, you know, and many crimes are unsolved. Could be Satanists.
So they were probably Satanists.
Yes. Yeah. He even says at one point, he's like, now we don't have a lot of evidence. And that must mean the evidence is really hard to find. They hide it really well, those Satanists.
That's the pastor side of the cop / pastor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And the other side of the pastor side of it, he goes, satanic cults, they're protected by the Constitution, you know, freedom from religion. And, you know, I agree. Just to be clear, the police should not be allowed to investigate pastors. I'm just saying. There's no reason. I just want to make sure that's locked in. That part is okay.
Well, and there is a real theme in this movie of religions we don't like are legal, and that's the problem. Right? Because like we come back to that over and over again. And again, like this is something that like my father as a police chief had to deal with, reminding his cops, no, you can't just arrest people for wearing nose rings. That's, you know, being, even if they're in a satanic circle chanting to Baphomet, you're not allowed to arrest them for that.
Yeah.
So then we start to discuss like the what are satanic cults portion of the show, and we're treated to a bizarre series of visual representations as we answer this question.
And man, are none of them satanic cults.
No,
you got a puppet eating a girl, a Japanese woodblock print, a hard rock music cover. There's a Native American bear owl.
Oh, all right. I have very weird, similar type notes for the beginning. I have an old Russian woman eating a doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
porn from the wall of Eli's favorite sushi place. Skeletor, good show, and lemur-faced antelope deer. I think he was trying to draw stuff from Revelation.
Yeah, that's what happens when
mind of a 5-year-old.
Lemur-faced antelope deer. It's the newest character in our Blue Apron ads. Look out for it.
Oh, he's trying to draw the scorpion horse locust, but he's an idiot.
Voice.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and while we're looking at all of this, the guy is going like, you know, we even have evidence that, and this is an exact quote, some sorts of rituals might be taking place. The entire fucking country freaked out for decades over that level of evidence, right? We have some evidence that some sorts of rituals may be taking place. And then he says also, and this is very important, he says Satanism comes with unlimited drugs and deviant sexual behavior.
Does it? Unlimited?
No. And see, now, like, I was like 16 when this shit was at its peak. Why the fuck do you think I got into this stuff, right? I was promised unlimited drugs and deviant sexual behavior. The drugs were limited.
It was limited?
Very limited. Mostly just what I ended up bringing.
Yeah.
And then the book cover of the book, Cults That Kill, appears on the screen.
Yeah, as part of the evidence, yes.
If I may, I would like to read you the obviously self-written bio of the author of Cults That Kill as it appears on Amazon.com, the website.
Oh, please.
All of this is 100% real, and you can find it on the website. It's fucking amazing. I am what some people might call a successful author.
Some
really?
Some have claimed.
Hello. I am an author.
I've had published more than 15 non-fiction books
16.
under my name.
More than 15.
And as a ghostwriter. I'm also a journalist and a writer.
So if you count them, it's not going to come to over 15, but I've done A lot.
Several of my books have won awards and made me semi-famous. I'm semi-famous. It's like me describing a podcast. It's real. I've been on NPR, C-SPAN, CNN, USA Today. He's been on USA Today. CBS, Evening News, just Evening News.
And what is, I was on C-SPAN. What does that even mean?
Fox TV News, Bloomberg Business News, Voice of America, and my articles have been published by The Washington Post, LA Times, and others. I don't like to brag, well, a little maybe, so you can see my books and my full bio at my website, kahaner.com. I beat out all my cousins for the domain name, and I'm pretty proud of that.
It really says that?
Yes, it does. I had to double check.
It's over. The show is over. No, there's more. The podcast should be over. We should have shut the recording off and everyone been like, I get it. They peaked. Okay. He goes on. I'm also a licensed private investigator, which is pretty much like being a reporter, except you get to show people your cool ID issued by the state government. Yes. After making my living as a nonfiction writer and author for many decades, I've turned to fiction, taking what I've learned about writing real stories to writing fake stories. No Snickers, please. I write a blog.
Well, he was way late on that. That's not fair to ask me now.
I write a blog titled The Non-Fiction Novelist, and it's designed to help nonfiction writers, like me, to become novelists. It's a different ballgame for sure, but many of the same habits, thought processes, and lessons are transferable.
Wow, he's got over 0 blogs. That's exciting for him.
They don't just let anyone have a blog.
You can't just get a blog.
No,
you don't
you
just
gotta
get one.
Yeah.
This is all his bio. My first thriller, USA Inc., has just been published in ebook and paperback by Bay City Publishers. Here's the cut line. What if the U.S. were run like a corporation and a madman was in charge? Pretty provocative, I'd say. I highly recommend it.
Wow.
He highly recommends his own provocative work. Huh?
His own book. Through the years, many people have asked me what it's like to be a writer. For me, it's been a great job and career. I wouldn't want to do anything else. Unfortunately, I also tell them what they don't want to hear. It's hard work. And unless you have luck and perseverance, it's difficult to make a living at it. Talent? Yes, that helps.
That would make this bio a lot shorter.
But good writing can be learned if you're willing to make the effort, have thick skin about criticism, and take it seriously as your life's work.
Good to know he's got thick skin. He might be listening.
If you want to write as a hobby or for fun, that's cool too. But too many folks tell me how frustrating it is for them, how they'd rather do anything else than write. And I always respond, maybe you've got something there. That is the end of his bio.
I bet he sucks at Twitter. I bet he's like one of those 1 of 12 people on Twitter.
Oh my God, that made me so happy. I was literally out of breath with laughter.
When I saw you'd copied like 9 paragraphs into the notes, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I started reading it. I'm like, oh, I'll wait. I'll let Eli reveal this one to me. But here's the thing. That guy wrote the book that caused the movie that we're watching, right? Like that was one of the authors that they were using to back up all the facts of this movie. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, can we talk about, because we left off on unlimited drugs and deviant sexual behavior, but they really dig into the abnormal sexual behavior of Satanists.
Yeah, he comes back to him to take a moment to be like, look, when it comes to sex stuff, you got to remember they're a bunch of weirdos. That's why they're doing this, is they're weirdos, which, by the way, is wink, wink, nudge, nudge for gays.
Yes.
They say it several times, but what they mean is gay.
Yep.
They don't mean...
And well, they say that directly a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah. But when they're like deviants, they actually don't mean like whips and chains and JonBenet Ramsey. They mean gay. They just mean gay.
Well, when he says abnormal sexual behavior, the backdrops are first a lady getting eaten out by a decapitated goat, and then a person tied up and getting spanked with a riding crop. Those are equivalent. Those two things are equally abnormal. I also love the line where he's talking about how like men are afraid for their women folk, ladies are afraid for their vaginas. This is 1994.
It's literally men worry about their wives and mothers and daughters. Women worry about them.
Just women. Yep.
And the final picture we get of Satanism is a wizard summoning a little person in blackface.
Yeah, well, that, again, all of his images for a cult are things like people summoning Tokoloshi and Jester's outfits and Greek gods eating kings. This is not how it works at all. Those are just creepy pictures you found.
And by the way, just throughout this whole movie, but especially in this scene, they're trying to make religion and cult be different, but just horribly failing. They kept being like, cults they're like religion, but the beliefs, they can lead to violence. Wait, okay.
Starting again.
They can lead to sexual abuse of children. Shit. Okay. Is this going to edit okay? Okay, keep rolling. But they're different or something.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, there is a definitional difference between cult and religion, but it's so narrow that religious people don't want to admit what it is. So instead of learning that, we're going to turn to the 3 levels of Satanism and the boss villains at the end of each of them, I guess.
Yeah! I just wrote in my notes, happy birthday, Noah. Happy birthday.
So apparently if you're a police officer and you're worried about Satanism, you have to distinguish the various levels of Satanism. Level 1, and we'll use this term a lot, the dabblers. Mm-hmm. Right? They're just in it for fun and games. They might, though, be involved in his words, video games and graffiti.
So, some real shit. Some real shit.
What the fuck do those two things have in common with one? Like, imagine that was just a thing that you had on, like, the SATs. Video games are to graffiti as Satanism is to blank.
Dabblers.
Damn it. Stupid Skype.
Yeah, and again, I want to point out, this was not made in like the early days of Atari or anything. This is the year PlayStation debuted. This is 1994. Everyone was involved in video games at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's level 1, though. Apparently, we don't have to worry too much about them. But then you have level 2, which is spiritual involvement.
And these people are like just doing it for the power they get from it. And he doesn't go like, and look, obviously it's fake. He's like, look, they like doing it because it makes them 10 times stronger than a normal man. And I get that. I get it. But that's no good. You can't just be using your super strength and your invisibility powers that Satan gives out all willy-nilly.
If it came out eventually that the entire Satanic Panic was a PR stunt by like Llewellyn Books or one of these occult book publishers or something, I would believe that.
It would be a great idea.
Yeah. No. I mean,
it would have saved me a lot of money and time.
Well, again, yeah, right, because I was growing up around this. I was growing up around there's these secret groups of people with unlimited drugs and deviant sex that'll give you superpowers. Look out for them. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll be on the lookout for not hanging out with those people.
Yeah. Who would want superpowers, which is how 25-year-old Eli ended up in Home Depot looking for marble tiles that he could cast Jew magic spells with. True story. Don't want to talk about it.
What? That's a Patreon only
could
content.
not.
No, as it turns out.
Fun fact.
So, but Eli was only a level 2 Satanist when he was trying to do that Jew magic. What you really have to look out for is level 3, which is criminal involvement. These are people who do illegal stuff.
But he just says the same thing as he said for level 2.
Yes, he does.
He's like, level 2 is spiritual involvement. Level 3, spiritual Ibid. Or Sid Field said you had to have 3 or something. I don't know.
Also that, but crimes.
Yeah, well, right. But see, the thing is that to sort of underscore the point Eli was making at this point, he's like, they gain power by killing people. Moving on. So, and now it's time to meet one of my favorite humans. This guy is up with Estes Perkle.
Oh my God. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
All right. So we're going to meet Eric Pryor, who's going to tell us about ritual sites. He is a former satanic high priest turned Christian and current wacky, full of shit, drunken, violent, delusional, psychopathic idiot wearing a Davy Crockett hat as a mullet.
And that, by the way, that means he's a low priest, I'm pretty sure. So doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, no, it's opposite day in
Sneaky.
Satanism. Yeah, right.
But he's got a power mullet, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you absolutely, listen to me very carefully, podcast listener. I don't ask a lot from you, okay? I don't ask a lot, except that you occasionally visit my blog. But other than that, I only ask you to look up Eric Pryor, because I could spend the rest of this episode telling you Eric Pryor's story. But here is the super short, please look him up. He's the most amazing human in the world. This is the super short version of Eric Pryor's life story. So there is a Christian who is doing a big pray off in California. He's like, oh, ooga booga booga. I hope no homosexuals show up. And who shows up but Eric Pryor, who nobody's ever heard of. And he's like, I am the head of all the witches and I will put a curse on you. And he's like, what? A real Satanist head of witches guy? That's crazy. If only he and I could talk. So they talk, and surprise, Eric Pryor becomes a Christian.
Yes, he does.
What a surprise.
And gets paid by that guy's church for like the next 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah, he only gets a couple $1,000 a month for it, and all the money he gets preaching, and maybe gets to live on a private golf course. It's fucking it gets better. So he turns out, hey, guess what? He was never a high Satanist. They actually did research in this in 1991. There was like a TV special about him where fucking Diane Sawyer was like, I think this guy's full of shit. And you can watch it because it's on YouTube, but he's never a Satanist. Satanist never had any idea what he was talking about. And it turned out when you asked him questions about Satanism, he would just make stuff up. He'd be like, oh, well, Satanists love the color blue. Are you just saying that because I am standing in front of a blue background and they love Diane Sawyer? All right. So then he's like, you know what? Screw you guys. I'm going to start a Satanist cult. So he buys a house, a mansion with 28 rooms that he said belonged to the actress who played the witch in Bewitched. It did not.
No, but that was where he went to lie to give his house like witch credibility is so
Bewitched.
amazing all by itself. Yeah.
The actress from Bewitched. Yeah. And he tries to start a cult. And it doesn't work, and he runs out of money. And so then he goes back to being a Christian. He's like, hey, everybody, I'm a Christian. And I know that I've spent my entire public life telling you that I was like a Satanist on the streets of New York, but actually I was Andy Warhol's assistant, and I invented the term Byzantine postmodern art. And everyone's like, no, you didn't, Eric Pryor. No. You're a liar. And then he gets hit by a truck walking across the street and dies. That is the end of his story.
Yes, that is Eric Pryor in a fucking nutshell. And again, that's the just bullet point thing.
Oh my, you have to read these articles about him because they're crazier than I could ever imagine. We're going to do an episode of Citation Needed about him as soon as I can, but until then, he's the greatest human of all time.
And he looks like Vigo the Carpathian's yearbook photo.
Yes. Billy Ray Cyrus would have him tone down that mullet. But again, that's the guy who's going to be like, that's the primary information guy for this. And if you know anything at all about occultism as you watch him, it is so painfully obvious that he is just making shit up as he goes and half remembering words and whatnot. It's awesome. So he's here again to tell us all about ritual sites. So as cops, we can go and figure out where the Satanists are and what they're trying to magically do. So we go into this little park, and before we even get in the park, he's like, now there's two types of people that use this here park. It's Satanists and homosexuals. Those two groups are very much linked. You'd be surprised how well linked those two groups are.
I mean, I know how they're linked. I just don't know how well. And then,
have you seen Human Centipede?
In the moment that made me laugh harder than any other, the camera they're walking into this park. The camera pans up, and there is a freshly sprayed pentacle on a tree, a foot in front of him, and he goes, "Oh, What a surprise. a giant pentacle. But
I didn't see you here. Yeah.
Right there in the center of the frame, steam coming off of it, like just a big metal plate got taken off. It's ridiculous.
I want to make a bit of a pedantic correction. That is not a pentacle. It is a pentagram. A pentacle is a disc-shaped object with a pentagram on it that's used in Wiccan ritual practice. Just a quick example of how bad he is at this. He doesn't even know what, like, the main symbol is called.
Well,
anyway.
Not just that, but whoever he told to spray it there did it upside down because he goes, oh, look, here is a giant pentacle, but it's not Satanist because it's upside down, Steve. So, yeah,
maybe
this one isn't satanic, Steve.
But luckily, as he's saying that, Steve is standing just off camera spray painting another tree.
Maybe it's a double Satan cult, so it becomes down and then up and then down again. I don't know.
He literally pivots the camera and he's like, oh, here's one that is drawn right, Steve. And he touches the paint, which is wet. And he goes, it's fresh. So you can tell Steve drew it like fucking 6 seconds ago.
Yeah, right.
That's how spray paint works.
Definitely thought he was going to lick it. It was really weird. He's like, ooh, it's fresh. It was really creepy and stupid.
But then they go even further because apparently the Satanists use the fucking symbols like trailblazers or whatever to draw you into their evil. So they go a little bit further, and this is where they come across satanic hopscotch.
This is the voodoo BB.
Voodoo VD. Yeah.
Voodoo
yeah.
VV. Yeah.
Yeah, VV. Yeah. Which again, it's just a symbol that he sees that his buddy has drawn. He's like, well, you can see here, Steve kind of fucked up the curls right here. He's supposed to go the other way.
And this particular satanic graffiti is drawn in sidewalk chalk.
Yeah,
you know, those satanic kindergartners.
Yeah, and so, but this is all luring us up to where the main Satanism goes down. And as he's doing this, I'm thinking, because again, like, I know a bit about this stuff. I know that most of the shit he's saying is either wrong or he only half understands it. So I'm picturing like somebody walking up to Eli just like, oh, you must be one of them tour guides. Here's $1,000. Show me the history of New York. You know?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Here is a cat building full of cats. We can't go in. Stop asking if we can go in places. No refunds.
Oh, well, this is where he comes across the mushroom paint, the graffiti.
Oh, God. And he's like, see this? They draw shrooms where they do shrooms. It's fucking you could not, if this was an improv scene, it would be the most brilliant comedy ever created.
Oh my God, yes. Oh, we need to remake this. We need to just remake Satanic Reefer Madness as a musical. That's what we need to do. We
absolutely should remake this as a video, but where we just like accidentally keep catching Steve drawing the symbols. Just like, seriously, man, I said I was going to be here in 10 minutes.
So, yeah, but no, his explanation, they come across a spray painted mushroom, and his analysis is, how could you possibly paint a mushroom if you weren't satanically imbibing them to commune with the devil? Right? Yeah, so this must be one of them Satanists for sure.
There's also this amazing moment right next to it. There's a 666, and he points to that. He's like, you see the 666, that's obviously pretty satanic. And right next to the 666 is a swastika, and he's like, and that's about it. That's all.
Yeah. Moving on. Oh, well, look. And there's something else interesting here. A mushroom. Yeah, exactly.
They're a satanic gay Nazi gang? We're done.
This is gay satanic gang.
No more questions, hands down.
And yeah, so, okay, now we're wandering around the Satan site looking for clues. If this man was carrying an oversized magnifying glass and smoking a pipe, this scene would be no more silly.
Yep. If he just took things out of his own pocket and then pretended to pick it up.
Or just picked up something that wasn't there. Oh, look, imagine this is a shoe. Yeah. No, he goes like, oh, look, here's a piece of rope. That's definitely Satan rope.
It's a bloody noose. Is that why do you dark colors? Nailed it.
Yeah, this could have been used to bind someone for a satanic ritual, or to masturbate like Eli was talking about, or to sacrifice an animal. Could have been any number, or it could have just been a piece of rope. That's the kind of thing you find in an empty lot sometimes.
God Awful Movies does not advocate autoerotic asphyxiation. You full-grown adult. Everything I say is a joke. I am a joke humor.
Yeah, thank you. Also, he also finds a medicine bottle, which, that's Satan.
It's a xylocaine bottle.
Yeah, lidocaine. It's fucking lidocaine. It's the anesthetic that dentists use.
Also, for numbing animals and humans to sacrifice them without screaming.
Right.
That is the only explanation. There's no other. He sees like an empty bottle of Jameson. Like somebody probably removed all his own teeth with pliers. There's no other way to explain that. That's a satanic thing. They take pliers and take all their teeth out, but they drink whiskey. And that's the only people who ever drink whiskey in a park.
Also, just to give you an idea of how just making shit up this guy is, he sees a lidocaine and he says, now this, a lot of people don't know, this is, his word, a numbant. This is a numbant. Something used to numb. There's a term for that. It's anesthetic. But my 8th favorite fact of all time, I wanted to make sure, I didn't want to fuck this up. So I Googled define numbant, and Google said, do you mean define numbnuts? That actually happened, so I was quite happy about that. But yeah, so as we're walking around looking for more clues, he also finds a spray painted number 9, and that's pretty damn evil on account of those satanic statements. Which that's his brilliant segue. That's the movie's brilliant segue. Oh, here's the number 9. Let's talk about the 9 satanic statements. How fortunate that graffiti was there, Steve.
Maybe it was a flipped over 6. I don't know. I'm just saying.
It was opposite day.
Might have been something else.
Yeah. So they go through the 9 satanic statements, and I'm not going to go. I've got them all written out here. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're stupid. This is just Anton LaVey was some jackass idiot guy who wrote a book that was called the Satanic Bible, and he tried to come up with 9 evil sounding things that were still defensible, and he ran out of shit at 6 or whatever. Just started making up shit at the end.
I actually
9 though is hilarious.
Yeah, 9 is good.
The 9th one is Satan has been the best friend of the church as he has kept it in business all of these years. And he's like, you see, that's one of their tenets.
Yeah.
It's like Batman and the Joker. Both need each other. Both terrible for society. Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
I enjoyed number 6 also. Number 6 was Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. So, confusing, but I guess if I'm picking between those two things, the fucking first one, whatever. Felt like Muhammad or Joe Smith wrote that one. Yeah.
So, and by the way, the movie pauses long enough in case we want to write these down, in case we need time to pause our VHS tape and write these down.
Yeah, it's like the teacher being like, when I talk in italics, it might be on the test. Idiots. Stupid kids. Number 3 tomorrow. Stupid kids, you're failing.
So then we get a little more satanic graffiti, and then we get the let's explore what we just learned scene where this turns into Satanism Blues Clues. They show the map of the fucking park, and they're going what did we find? We saw a pentacle. No, you saw a pentacle. We saw an upside down cross. We saw a rope and some lidocaine.
It's like Dora the Satanic Explorer.
Yeah, exactly.
Blues Clues.
Blues Clues. That's what you meant. Yeah. So
reds and whites and blacks clues. I don't know. There's just no puns there.
So now we go back to Hamster Man, who points out that he's standing in front of San Francisco, which is just crawling with gay devil worshippers or just gay people.
Well,
same thing. Yeah.
Fun place.
He's like, this is where Anton LaVey started the first Church of Satan and had the Satanic Bible and the Satanic Rituals available on Amazon.com. Oh, wait, no, is that part? Almost like someone wanted to sell fear. Well, it's a good thing. I would never do that. What a terrible.
Right. So, yeah, and he's here to teach us the 3 basic areas of satanic attraction. After all, now that we know what Satanism is, why would anyone want to get into it? Well, there's 3 reasons. Gratification of the flesh, gratification of the ego, and power.
Yeah. Satanism, it's all about the fleshlight. It's interesting. I like the fleshlight. Let me get into that.
I feel like a fleshlight does not help your ego.
Well, I don't think you're using it right.
Look at me go.
I don't think you're using it right, buddy.
No, but it gives you power. It does give you power.
I think the day you press purchase and go to cart and arrange for shipping of rubber shaped like Asa Akira's butthole, it doesn't help your ego. I'm gonna disagree with you here on air.
I'm gonna push back on that, Eli. I got a 3-pack. It was mouth, ass, and vagina, and I felt really good about myself. And I got a nice price.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Does not push back on you.
So we also learn, and by the way, this is all on topic because this is the appeal of Satanism. You're not allowed to have Asa Akira butthole fleshlights if you're a Christian, and that's why they're Satanists. So that's really the point he was making in a much less entertaining way. So now it's time to learn about Satanist initiation practices. And every time I say it's time to learn, that's because a backdrop has just come up of the brick wall saying satanic initiation. So anyway, basically it's like Christianity. Everything's like Christianity except backwards, right? So satanic initiation would be like a baptism, except they suddenly make you really dry.
They pull you out of water.
What would that even mean?
They hold you under one of those hand dryers in the bathroom. Yeah. And this is the part of the movie that I call that escalated quickly.
Yeah, no shit.
Because they'll be like, denying Christ, saying the Lord's Prayer backwards, raping a child.
That's really where it
burning
goes.
a Bible.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Those are the steps in the initiation. You reject Jesus and you say a prayer and you pledge allegiance to Satan and then you murder children.
You promise to murder children and get the mark of the beast also. That's part of it. It's a weird pairing. Like, I promise to murder kids. Let me get that fucking sweet-ass tattoo.
Yeah,
Let's do it. I want to finish step 4. I don't want half of it. I murdered the kid, tattoo.
Yeah. You also get a new name. It's like superpowers or podcasting in that way.
Right. And then he goes, not all podcasters. And then he goes, well, not all satanic people commit crimes. Some of the behavior is harmless, like cruelty to animals, kidnapping, rape, child abuse. And I'm like, I'm sorry. When do you get to the harmful?
Yeah,
things?
no. Okay, so what he's saying here is he's like, again, you can't just arrest him for wearing nose rings. So you have to wait for him to do satanic type criminal stuff, which is all the crimes he could think of. Right? I'm surprised that money laundering wasn't on there.
Yeah. For instance, he goes, sexual trafficking of children, corpse theft. I felt attacked. Pedophilia and pornography.
Yeah, and pornography. Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, so if basically like he's saying like, yeah, so if you find out that somebody's kidnapping children, invest a lot of resources seeing if there's Satanism involved in that. That's where the police resources should be.
And the other thing is he's constantly trying to combine stuff that just fucking kids do with real crimes. Like he's like illegal entry into cemeteries and necrophilia.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
It's another weird combo. Yep. Playing Ring and Run and raping the entire family when they come to the front door. Standard combo of crimes. This is almost every time.
Into video games.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fucking great. Because like what he wants here is for you to like find some teenagers in a graveyard and be like, what, you're gonna dig up and fuck some corpses, right, kids? Come on. Tell Officer Krupke.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, but what it reads like is, him going like, and by the way, if you've got a problem in your town with murder, mass murder, or cannibalism, that could be a problem. You're going to probably want to look into that.
Right. He says you need to note it in your reporting. And I was like, yeah, note it in your reporting if anyone's a necrophiliac.
Yeah, exactly. If you witness cannibalism, try not to leave that out. It might be an important detail. So yeah, exactly. If there's an uptick in necrophilia and selling children into sexual slavery, probably because Satanism.
And there's also this amazing moment right at the end of this scene where he's explaining all these things. He's listing it, and somebody walks past behind him in the shot. And they look right into the camera with like complete loathing. They clearly heard him ranting like a fucking lunatic, and they just like stare right at him.
What the fuck are you guys doing? Yeah. All right. So now let's move on. We got to get back to Power Mullet here, and he's going to teach us all about the tools of Satanism. Now, again, this is probably way fucking funnier to me than it was to anyone else who watched it, because I actually knew like the right answers to the questions he was being asked here. And this would be like me pointing to the microphone and going, this is a sound that you see right here. This machine with the knobs over here is a Doomble Flork. It's used to straighten your hair. You know, yeah. But he's going to tell us the difference between voodoo tools, satanic tools, and Wiccan tools.
All right.
Why? Well, like, cops are going to need to know the subtle differences between three made-up nonsense things? Like, how does that?
There's been a murder, but we need to make sure it wasn't just a normal voodoo murder. We need to make sure it was
right. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, can you imagine a cop armed with this information? Like, beaded necklaces are a sign that you're sacrificing humans to the devil.
Oh, are we going to talk about that necklace? Can we talk about the second grader's friendship bracelet he reveals as a sign of voodoo?
Eats a few Fruit Loops during the segment.
Also candles. If you see candles at a crime site, probably Satanists right there. Oils.
Yeah. Also colors. He goes, voodoo is colorful. So police, you know, look for things on the visible light spectrum when you're out investigating. This is useful. This video I made.
And he's got these like evil, he's like, look, this is a voodoo doll, and this is the blood of a chicken in a silver bowl that can speak to you in the voices of the dead. But you're going to want to look for beads, shells, or a pin.
Yeah, right. Candle holders. That's pretty bad. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the best part is at one point, he's got one of the Catholic like patron saint candles.
Yeah.
The weird old ladies sell on the streets of my neighborhood. And he's like, now this is a patron saint candle. And you can tell it's voodoo candle because it's got a patron saint on the front and a Catholic prayer on the back.
Yes. So Hispanics are Satanists.
That's how you know it's a voodoo.
Well, somebody's Catholic. Doing the raping. It's somebody.
But also, who's like, you walk into a crime scene and you see, ignoring the crime, you see an altar. Upon that is a skull, a couple of candles, and 2 knives and a bell. Do you really need to know what the bell is for?
I assume they use this bell as some kind of... I have no idea, officer.
I don't know.
Case closed.
We can't figure it out.
When he shows the bell, though, he rings it. It's the best. He's like, to show us what a bell does. It's priceless.
I know how this one works. I've used one before. I'm legit Satanist.
You ring it, you guys. You ring it. All right, on to the knife.
Yeah, well, and also, just in case he got himself any credibility by knowing how to ring the bell, we go to witchcraft, and he points to the cards, and he goes, witches use tarot cards.
Tarot, which rhymes with carrot. Not a lot of people knew that tarot cards rhymed with carrot cards.
Yeah, no, and he's like, also, again... He talks about the knife that the Wiccans use, which is correctly pronounced athame, and he calls it an atheme. And I'm like, you know, everybody mispronounces that. I don't expect him to get athame right, but like that is the dumbest sounding possible mispronunciation, isn't it? Atheme. Anyway, yeah. That's also wrong. But again, like this is their expert. This is a guy who didn't even bother when he read Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft to read the pronunciation note under athame.
Nope. It's like the world's most boring cooking show. It's like if someone stumbled onto the set of a cooking show, they murdered Emerald backstage. Now they're like, all right, hey, I'm your host, Kyle, and I'm a real chef. So today we're going to be cooking up some
ramen,
cholets, whatever these are.
I think Heath feels attacked right now. So. Yeah, right. But no, I had in my notes, this would be like a guy pointing to the periodic table of elements and saying, now this one is cheese. That's an element. This one is the 10% of your brain that you use. Also, by the way, in this bit, there's actually a pentacle on the goddamn altar, and he never mentions it. He never says this. Also, this is a pentacle. He's like, this is one of them circled star thingies. Yeah. Anyway. Also, there's also a great moment where he's like, you'll also find powdered incense. You can tell by sniffing it. So if you find powder at a crime scene, officers...
He wants to be a cop so bad. He's like picking up the powder with his knife and doing that thing.
Right, doing the ink pen thing, yeah.
It falls off. Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, it's like, so slippery. I immediately took a screenshot of this scene and sent it to my mom and was like, why didn't you let me know I was raised in witchcraft?
At what point he has no idea what he's talking about. So he's just rambling. He's like, this is salt that goes in the salt bowl. This is water, there's a water bowl, and the incense does not have an incense bowl. It's just like a weird, that's incense right there.
Yeah. It's called the censor. But yeah, exactly. And now we have we take a minute for the true glossary portion of the movie, which is going to start with a few cult symbols. Yeah, to that sound. Yeah, right, exactly. To the Blood on the Road soundtrack.
It's fucking amazing. Just like the inverted cross.
666.
I don't understand how any of this information, like, why does he even think it's going to be helpful? Like,
right.
The exact quote is, you know who you're going to be dealing with, how they think, and where they'll be is the point he thinks. Like, found some red and white chalk, like, go to the witch house and round up the usual suspects. They'll be thinking about witch stuff when you get there.
Now that I know about all of this, I know they'll be somewhere where salt is readily available, so that narrows it down. Yeah.
At one point in this glossary, I just have to point it out. They're doing all the things, and they include anarchy, the symbol of anarchy.
Anarchy, yes.
And the swastika, right? The swastika comes on screen. I'm like, all right. And then they go, this is a symbol of magic. Yep.
Moving on.
Magic.
Yes. Moving on. Yes. Holy fucking shit. Yeah. And then, we get through the symbols, and then it just actually goes into a glossary of selected terms. And again, none of these are new, right? Like, no one's watching this and doesn't know what altar or antichrist means.
I did not know the second definition of altar, if we're being honest. It's a table, usually a flat rock, or a naked woman who you shove stuff inside her vagina during a ritual.
Again, you can see why I got into this religion. Yeah.
Okay. Is that a real thing?
No.
Because I'm picturing just like a satanic priest all frustrated. The naked lady's like, it tickles. And she's like spilling his fucking incense all over, this powder flying.
No, I mean, there's candles, so no.
Bell ring. The bell rang before it was supposed to be ring. God damn it. This is serious. Stop moving. The worst altar.
It's almost like you don't want this cracker in your vag. Do you not want the cracker in your vag? Jesus.
If I had a nickel. We also get introduced to the Baphomet, the goat god with a woman's tits and a torch between his horns.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good selling point, honestly. Angel wings also.
Angel wings too, stuff. Yeah, no.
I feel like I've Googled that.
They try to sneak in Jim Jones during this as well. They're like, lots of terrible cult leaders like Jim Jones, that famous Satanist.
Satanist, yeah, right. I love their definition for black mass, which is like the very worst. There's butt fucking and gayness, raping dead babies, and all the bad stuff.
And mockery of Christianity and the things that we really like.
Right.
It's a weird list again. Rape, sodomy, slaughter of unbaptized babies. Mockery also.
And again, he doesn't know what a lot of these words mean. It's like they were just throwing him up, and he's the fucking bird at the beginning of Little Mermaid or whatever. Coven. That's a rogue Satanists. They went rogue.
Oven.
I think.
Coven. Sorry.
Yeah, right. And also, by the way, on the list, head. Heart.
They had to define those for us.
Yeah.
He was like, head, important toppy part of the body. It's right there. Neck area above can be eaten for magical powers.
Yeah, right. We bring it up because Satanists eat brains out of them. Yeah. Heart. They'll eat that too. Yeah, exactly.
That's in the middly area.
That's what all restaurants have to watch a video about Heath like that. Head, stay close. He'll take a chomp out of that. Heart, he'll eat that too. Keep bringing tasting courses.
So, yeah, and also we have to have Lucifer and Satan and Beelzebub all defined in this too. Just because you can't sell the video if it's under an hour.
Are those not the same person? Lucifer and Satan is the same person, and they were two different definitions in this really long glossary we're getting.
Yeah, it was unfucking real. And unfortunately for everyone, the next brick backdrop title card in the film reads, Child Ritual and Sexual Abuse. And I know I'm going to need some time to prepare before we unleash Eli on that subject. So we're going to pause for a quick break. But first, let's call it Act 3, the hard sell. Were actual public resources devoted to this conspiracy theory bullshit? How can we as a nation pass judgment on the Comet Ping Pong guy then? Will this movie contain autopsy photos of a severed testicle? Find out the answer to these questions and more when we return for the bone-chilling for all the wrong reasons conclusion of The Law Enforcement Guide to Satanic Cults. Hello, welcome to Typical Glasses Buying Experience. Now that you have been stabbed in eyes and brain by person who you are not sure is doctor, are you ready to buy glasses?
Yeah, just looking for some affordable and fashionable choices.
So you try Warby Parker.
What's Warby Parker?
Oh, is eyewear with a purpose. Warby Parker makes buying glasses online easy and risk-free. Their home try-on program allows you to order 5 pairs of glasses shipped directly to your door where you can try them on in the comfort of your own home. You can try the frames for 5 days before sending them back using a free prepaid return shipping label with no obligation to purchase. It's 100% free.
Wow, from home. It does seem super nice compared to this strip mall 45 minutes from where I live.
I know, right? Why I have any customer.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm actually looking for a less pricey pair of glasses.
Well, glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. Lenses include anti-glare and anti-scratch coating.
Wow. Because the lenses here are
marked up to make renting
great.
A location in a strip mall affordable.
Yeah, also that.
Mm-hmm. But it gets better. For every pair you buy, a pair is distributed to someone in need.
Oh, that's awesome. What happens when I buy a pair here?
I spend money on pink button-downs to wear under this white sweater and Stern face cream.
Oh, okay. How do I try it?
You got to Russian food store and ask for Stern face cream.
No, I meant Warby Parker. How do I try Warby Parker?
Oh, you can give their free home try-on program a chance. You order 5 pairs of glasses, try them on for 5 days, no obligation to buy, ships free, includes a prepaid return shipping label. You just go to warbyparker.com/awful to order your free home try-ons today.
Eli, what are you doing here?
Who is this?
Oh, I actually genuinely use Warby Parker for the glasses everyone has ever seen me wear. Even before they were a sponsor for our show, I just used that thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Super convenient, it's way cheaper, and I order the pairs, and my wife gets to tell me what pairs to keep. And since hers is literally the only opinion that matters, that's convenient. Plus, after people go through warbyparker.com/awful, they have a cool Warby Parker app, and it takes all your looks and turns them into a video. And you could share it and be like, which glasses do you guys like?
Huh. Okay. That sounds great. But what are you doing, like, specifically here is what I'm asking.
Oh, just hanging out. Like the smell.
Smell is rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, that. I like that.
Me too.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. This has been a hell of a grand preparation, let me tell you. Say hi, kid.
Hi,
Dude, finally. Thank you. So what's your name, little girl?
Lucy.
Did you get the goat's blood?
Fuck! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, man. I've had 4 kidnappings this week.
Seriously? You forgot it?
And how old are you, Lucy?
6.
Dude, make a list or send me a fucking text or something. I've been up to my asshole.
Wait. Dude, this kid is 6. They have to be 7 to 25.
We said that.
What? She said she was 7.
I said my 7th birthday was this year.
What does that even mean, your 7th birthday? This is a nightmare.
Well, it
this
means
is a
that later
nightmare.
this year...
It's fine. I'll go out and get some goat's blood. a 7-year-old and a witch's knife will get it going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, don't forget the white and red candles. He's going to forget the fucking candles.
You guys want to party or not?
And we're back for more of this shit. And as is so infrequently said when the recorder is on, it's time to talk about child ritual and sexual abuse.
You guys, for my birthday. I'm not ready. Okay, so my first, I think I was a counselor at a camp. Maybe I was a camper.
Moving on. So now it's time to talk about the real dangers of Satanism. It's not all just graffiti and video games, folks. It's also raping children.
And it's so creepy. He's just like, raping kids is like the worst thing. Like these kids, for example, that I'll show you.
Imagine these little kids being sexually abused.
Yeah.
They just roll up at a park. You mind if we film your kids? It's for a thing.
And I gotta say, if Satanists are doing like opposite day on Christianity, I feel like they're guarding little kids' assholes, if anything.
Right, yeah, no kidding. I love to this line. He goes like, in every state in the nation, there are reports and investigations of satanic child abuse. Notice he does not say convictions or arrests.
Nope. He sure wouldn't.
Reports. Yeah, and every state of the nation, there are reports of fucking Bigfoot and aliens raping people in their sleep.
Yeah. There's reports of the climate staying the same, too. Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And now, to prove how bad it is, we have someone who as a child was forced to lie about being attacked by Satanists. Probably.
Oh, God, this is so uncomfortable.
Okay, so among the things that they describe, as she describes her doing, is having needles put in between her fingers and them dismembering bodies and hanging her upside down over a vat of acid. I feel like I would have heard, I Googled vat of acid, and I did not find any, they weren't like, oh, you mean the case of 1992? I feel like I would have heard about it.
Did you mean Satanist Bond villains lowering into a vat of acid with a slow-moving dipping device?
Yeah, exactly. Right, yeah, exactly. This woman explains a series of ways they'd try to kill James Bond, but no, it all really happened to her. And again, like, look, this woman is probably mentally ill, and then you put her in front of this investigator that's going, no, I've heard of exactly that kind of stuff happening, and keep her talking. But again, she's blacked out. We don't have any identity here, and nothing like this has ever been discovered to have happened. Ever. I mean, now I should say, well, you know, look, there are plenty of cases of completely fucked up people doing really, really fucked up shit to people and, you know, torturing children and shit like that. But as far as this, like, there's an organized ring of child abusers that, you know, rape kids, etc. This is all the Comet ping pong shit. None of this has ever been, no evidence of any of that kind of shit has ever been discovered.
And if you were like, hey, Eli, what religion were the secret group of people that raped and tortured children for their religion? I would be like, I guess I'd have to say Christians, right?
Yeah, no, I should go back and amend my previous statement. Anyway, so yeah, this woman may or may not have been, you know, murdered by bears when she was a kid. And then she reads us a little poem.
Yep. She's got a rhyming poem about her abuse at the hands of Satanists.
That includes a rhyme with helter skelter.
Well, the word's in there. She doesn't rhyme it.
A little girl, yeah, I don't even, what
helter rhymes with skelter, but yeah.
Yeah, a little girl worked in a Charles Manson reference into her poem.
Yeah. Now, I will say, though, that's the first time in this movie that it was ever legitimately Wiccan. Listening to a wacky woman making up stories and reading you poems, that is what it's like.
Yeah.
So for just a minute, you do get to learn from the inside.
And again, how is this supposed to be helpful to cops? Do they think, like, detectives are not investigating when kids come into school, like, splattered with blood with a poem about murdering babies along with their parents the night before? Like, what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
You see a poem like this about baby murder, it might be about people who murder babies, so investigate
how you doing
that.
today? Pretty good. Can I read your poems? Mommy kills the babies. I see.
Yeah.
This is why we watched that tape.
Yeah, right. Well, but see, now it goes even deeper than that, though, because the next scene explains all the symptoms of satanic ritual abuse. Now, before we start making fun of these, I want to point out that mostly these are just the symbols of sexual abuse in children.
Right, which is a terrible thing. And the only thing that I can think of that would make it worse is not letting those kids get help because you're too busy looking for the ghosts that did it to them.
Right, yes, exactly. Blaming it on the boogeyman is super productive. Yeah, all these parents couldn't possibly be molesting their own children, whatever. Yeah. But it also, there are points in here where they're listing the symptoms and they list like exact opposite characteristics.
Yeah.
Right,
Child.
there's one point where there's like the child resists authority. The child is too compliant to authority.
So the kid has to be exactly medium with authority or else they're getting abused by a satanic cult.
Exactly,
Too medium.
Hey, Susie, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you submit to authority? 7. And when was the last time you were raped by a warlock?
Can I read your poem? Let me read your poem. Yeah. But there are also like signs of autism that they list on here, signs of just being a kid that they list on here. You know,
some of them are things that I still have symptoms of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Extreme masturbation and putting your finger in your butt are both on the list.
Yeah. Blood in your child's underwear. All right. Maybe they had Chipotle.
God,
I'm sorry. I'm a skeptic.
Oh, God.
That's what underwear is for, so you don't have to wash your pants all the time. Like, I mean, this is just,
Thank you.
it's a bad example.
I had a feeling this scene was going to get uncomfortable. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I murdered babies and got gangbanged by witches, because like a lot of these apply to me.
But again, like they're saying, like, you know, watch for these symptoms, and some of them are like your kid telling you that they were a victim of sexual abuse. Like, I don't want to meet the parents who didn't know that until they watched this movie, right? You think that might be what she's saying?
And I just want to put a specific quote. At one point, he says, if you stick a finger in a kid's ass, they relax instead of tensing up. That's a sign of...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How are they hoping the cops are using this information? How does he have this information?
Well, I got to say, it mentions in front of a few of them, like, upon medical examination, don't you finger the kid's butt. You have to have a doctor to do that, you know. Yeah, so you felt the need to clarify, I guess. So now we move on to the all-important question. This is what it's all really about. How can you tell if your kid is a Satanist?
Oh, yeah.
And for this, he's worn his very most visually stunning sweater.
Oh, he really has. And by the way, in case you're wondering what the signs of Satanism are, they're being a teenager.
Yep, all of them. Rebellion against authority, disrespect to parents, self-righteousness, all signs that your kids are satanic. Yeah.
Moodiness, lack of cleanliness, overeating. Guess who's a Satanist? Heath Enwright. Big old switcheroo.
Drastic changes in eating habits, drastic changes in punctuality, pubic hair. Yeah, they're all signs.
Angel wings, boobies. I gotta get a candle.
Yeah. So now we drag out old Kelly Mcgee. Now, Kelly Mcgee, he is a probation officer, and he looks exactly like you thought he was going to look when you realized that I was talking about a man named Kelly Mcgee.
He looks like the plumber who never gets paid in money because he's in 80s porn all the time.
He is wearing, he's the craziest human I think I've ever seen, and he is wearing a giant, bright purple sash.
The collar thing?
Yeah, it's the collar on his coat.
I thought his collar was about to have a ski race against a local kid. Fight over.
It is as though they were like, you know, we probably got a bunch of people down with that whole child rape thing. What is the craziest, silliest, most ridiculous human we could introduce at this point in the movie to get everyone laughing again? Like, how do we bring the energy back up?
Yeah, no, the inside liner of his jacket, which we see a gigantic swath of collar from, is like, you know, 6-year-old girl lunchbox colors, basically. Yeah. And so this guy's here to tell us that, look, if I managed to convince myself that this mustache was a good idea, satanic ritual abuse is a pretty easy step from there.
Yep. And he's very clearly like, look, you got to be down with the kids, all right? Like, let me give you an example. They open right up after that. They just really know that you're...
Yeah, there's no way this guy doesn't rap just like that when he visits schools and gives his little talks.
Yeah, exactly.
He's never sat in a chair the right way. He sits on his toilet facing the tank.
And his important message to all the police officers there is, whatever you do, make sure you obsess over satanic graffiti. At the end of the line, there are dead babies and shit.
I promise.
He started off so not crazy, right? He started off like he expected probation officer to start. He's going like, a lot of these kids, they get mixed up in drugs because they don't have a good home life. So Satan's probably raping them, probably getting raped by Satan over a vat of acid or something on those. And oh, man, damn.
Oh, Dad. Quick turn.
Yeah.
So we get back to the pastor guy, and he then describes that you can't just ask your kids what's going on with them. That would be crazy. It's the 1980s. You must sneak up on your teenage children and then jump on them and hold their mouths closed. like the crocodile hunter, but with satanic teenagers.
Let me see that knife. Is that an athame? No, just a regular knife. Okay, you're fine.
All right, you're good. You're good. Wait. Why are you eating that baby, though? Who
just
have you
regular baby.
the baby to?
Okay, you'll get away this time with regular.
Did they agree to zips? All right. My kid's no rule breaker.
Yeah, he urges us to be patient with our little Satanists.
Also warns about the rock music that causes the baby murder.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, wouldn't have been surprised. Giant block quote of rock, it's your decision, the script, the screenplay, just rolling down in text.
Right, that would have been the most appropriate backdrop we got in the entire movie. And his advice is, teach your school administrators how to look for Satanists. Ask your kids about their song lyrics. That's very important. They'll have some important insights there. Also, I love this one. Call your local support services for youth about the Satanism. Who are you going to call?
Gun Video Catalog Hotline.
And now we turn our attention, because we haven't had enough glossary type moments, we turn our attention to the satanic calendar and all the various holidays contained therein.
It's just a list of holidays and the ages of the kids you fuck. That's this entire segment.
Let me save you 10 minutes. They always have anal sex. Always with a kid at very weird ages, which means that, like, on January 24th, if you brought them like a 9-year-old, they'd be like, dude, it's fucking 11 to 22. But let me tell you, if you are a woman over 30, you have nothing to fear from Satanists.
Right.
Boy. It's like being a drug dealer at Bonnaroo. You are a safe motherfucker. By the way, they're setting all of this to, like, pan flute meditation music. It's like August 13th, they rape the rape of a rapey rape. And it's just
asses and ears mostly on that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because it's not just the ages of who you fuck, but also where you fuck them.
Which orifices and the ages of the kids you fuck. That's this entire list. I swear we're not exaggerating. It's just like holiday number 8. Asses and eye sockets 9 to 20.
Although there is one exception in this list, however, where we learned that on Halloween, they really, really try to get around to having sex with a demon. They try to make a big priority.
Well, I love some of these descriptions because it's not just that. There's also like dog sacrifice in some of them and stuff like that. But my favorite was June 2nd, which is anti-Christian ceremonies. Just, in general. That's celebrated by bestiality, sodomy, plain red cups, the works. And then that's followed by the next one is summer solstice, which is orgies, gay ones with babies. Like that's really
gay babies.
Yeah. So we go all the way through the year, one holiday at a time, describing who we're going to sacrifice into which orifice when or whatever. And now we move on to what everybody's been fucking waiting for, the Satanic Homicide portion of the show.
Yay!
This was by far the most unintentionally terrifying moment in this movie.
Oh, this is the part of the movie that I like to call crazy person or nope.
Hint, the answer is always crazy person.
Yep.
On the occasion when they get the names right anyway.
It's always either crazy person who was just like Satan, also cats was the cause of me murdering people.
Right, yeah.
Or they probably didn't murder someone at all.
Yeah, well, right. Or they were railroaded in by dumb shit like this movie. Exactly. Jesus fucking Christ. So yeah, they list a bunch of serial killers and they're going, that son of Sam feller, he was into Satan. He drank blood like Satan. This other fella had a finger in his pocket. Tell me that ain't Satan-y. That's pretty Satan-y.
And then, of course, we get to, so we a couple of great exceptions here. Ricky Casso, who had a bad acid trip and stabbed his friend. And Carl Drew, who was a pimp who just beat up his prostitutes and murdered them because he was a crazy, evil pimp.
Well, now, I believe, according to a very reliable source, he had a satanic cult, chopped a woman's head off, and played soccer with it. Hello. That's what I've heard. And then we move on to the story of Clifford St. Joseph, which I've heard this story before, but I've only ever heard it as, like, this poor guy that was, like, dragged into prosecution for no fucking reason because of the Satanic Panic. Not as, look, we got us a Satanist.
Yes. So here's the story that they tell us in this documentary is Clifford St. Joseph was luckily discovered while this wild gay party was going on. And the cops, they're just checking out gay parties, like you do. Good police officering. And they were like, hey, man, anyone here ritually murder anybody? And Clifford St. Joseph raised his hand and went to prison forever.
That is. They say, well, we responded to calls of a gay sex party one day, and a couple of days later, wouldn't you know it, a guy got mutilated. So we went back to them gays and asked which one of them did it. That's the fucking story.
Yep, we had a guy who was already in jail who was like, would I get less jail if I named my friends and one of them was a murderer of a murder you haven't solved? And they were like, you sure would. And he was like, eeny, meeny, miny, Clifford St. Joseph.
Yes. Yeah, and we should point out, like, Clifford St. Joseph is still in prison over this crime. He was convicted of this crime. The Innocence Project is working hard to undo that, at the last I heard. But as I understand it, he still is considered guilty of this crime. So,
yep. And the man who told, and one of the witnesses who said that Clifford St. Joseph was kidnapping people and tying them to radiators and getting them fucked by dogs, also said he was having sex with Elton John Liberace and been recruited by the government to kill Ronald Reagan. I don't know what version of 1980s lawyer was like, yeah, moving on. I don't really see how that's relevant. I think, so Clifford, you say.
And by the way, as they're describing this, they're interviewing the guy who railroaded him, the first African-American police chief of San Francisco. Did not serve with distinction exactly.
Right. And he also goes off on a crazy rant that I can't find any sources for. He goes, now, we found that this case goes way higher, and there were many people involved.
In high positions, yeah.
I've not found any rumors about nothing. I found nothing about that. It was just a crazy man who was excited the camera was on.
Oh, he was shaking with excitement. He was trying to play it cool during his interview, but he's like, the victim was chained down and every guest was offered to have sex with him. And the German Shepherd. This was way beyond what would have been seen in a normal encounter of gay male anal sex.
Just say that, yes.
Normally it's without a German Shepherd. What was this guy was insane.
Yeah, and he basically first of all, this dude could make any story boring. But as he's going through, he's basically saying, we didn't find any evidence, but they were gay, so
yeah. Also, then we used luminol, which, if you're not familiar with luminol, we sprinkled magic dust in the corner of each part of the room. And guess what we found on the floor? Blood or water or wine, tomato juice, a stain, literally anything.
And the whole time he's conflating two different crimes. He's not letting you know when he's moving from talking about one crime, which actually is evidenced, and another crime, which is actually murder. But it is painful to watch, and not just because they give us a lot of autopsy photos to work with while we're going through this.
Quick question about those autopsy photos, because we get a pentagram carved into John Doe 60's chest, which is, of course, the crime that Clifford St. Joseph was committed of. We get a couple of photos of the crime scene, and then there's a still photo of a dick.
Was that a dick?
That was a dick.
Okay, that was a dick.
That was 100% a dick.
All of a sudden, just blue waffled up. We got a dick.
Okay,
just 70 solid seconds of dick.
This is so much funnier than you guys realize. So one of the things that was done to this victim is that one of his testicles was cut off. That's what we were looking at. There was a missing testicle there. But if you're not already familiar with the crime and you know to look for the missing nut, you're just looking at a dick suddenly.
Your eye wanders straight to the dick. When you show people a dick, they're not going to be like, is there a missing testicle?
Yeah, no, you got to have a red circle or something, something to...
No, why were you looking for the missing testicle?
Because
you seemed unaffected by the bias that affected Heath and I.
I paused when a penis comes up. I make sure I'm getting the whole picture. Also, I was familiar with this case from investigating it in the past. But yeah. Exactly. I wrote in my notes here. God damn it, the innocent project is, oh, never mind, Eli's got it in his notes. Yeah, so, and also, by the way, the cop that they're interviewing even lies about the sentence, right? They're like, he's like, he was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Like, no, he wasn't. Like, that's so easy to check.
In my head, he was.
Yeah.
And then we get his tips, which he didn't expect this question. He was like, fuck. I did not, this isn't going to be on the video, right? Okay. 1, don't rationalize. Reason is bad.
That's his first.
Don't make non-dark magic excuses for people.
Yeah, right.
It's usually dark magic. Don't rationalize that off the table, because you'll confuse things.
Yeah, exactly. And then piece of advice number 2, investigate.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That one.
Because you're a cop.
Don't just use guess and check for arresting people.
3 votes.
However, number 3 is arrest drunk people. Just all of them. So I guess it is guess and check. Just a few drunk people might be rapey warlocks. Arrest them. Guess and check.
Yeah. Well, and this was very clearly him kind of looking at the camera, going like, "Look, guys, you know a Satanist when you see him. Arrest him for whatever you can arrest him for, and you're probably saving a baby." Also, I love number 4. This is just phenomenal police advice here. Number 4, look for the unusual.
Especially unusual wounds. Not usual wounds. Unusual.
When you come across a murder victim, look for the part that they killed him with. Yeah, exactly.
Are they spelling anything with these gunshot wounds, or is it just like random pattern?
Let's see. Piece of advice number 5: follow through.
Follow through, like a corporate buzzword poster. Like lean into it. Move some cheese. Follow through.
Who moved my satanic victim?
Number 6, and this is probably the worst piece of advice in the entire movie, because it's watch this movie. It says, ask for help from experts, like the people who made this damn movie.
Maybe, subscribe to Gun Video Catalog.
Couldn't hurt.
Ways to get some info.
I love to. Okay, and then we get piece of advice number 7. This is amazing. It is look for the signs, i.e.,
what?
Decapitated bodies with feathers sticking out of them. That could be a sign.
That is Satanism. A good sign. That's a good sign of a murder.
Yeah. But he's like, he starts talking about urban legends. He's like, there are urban legends everywhere. Did I ever tell you about the guy who picked up the hitchhiking girl and let her borrow his jacket? Yeah, that's basically where this guy's going. I mean, he starts explaining like Santeria rituals and goes, you guys know if they're killing a goat, that's probably Satan shit. And they said it's legal, but it's probably Satan shit.
I thought I liked Scalia, but he's kind of being a dick about this one.
He's playing the long game. He's playing the long game. Also very common types of Satanism, grave robbing and stealing from churches.
Yeah.
Not
so,
homes.
If someone steals something from a church, it's probably because they're going to kill someone in a satanic ritual.
A baby that it will be raped first. Yeah, and like he's so obviously just vamping at this point. He's like, you know what else just occurred to me? Animal horns. Always fucking with them animal horns. Also candles. Candles are good to look for.
Hats. Weird hats. Showy hats. No one else is wearing a hat. They keep it on, probably because horns are underneath the hat. But what kind of flavor pies do I like? Apple? Blueberry?
Colors. We said that before. Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. All the colors. Damn it. The colorless things. The things that. Fuck. That's stupid too. You go.
Invisible.
You go.
You can't see.
You're the only one in the interview. Who are you saying you go to? I'm filming you.
So yeah, and then finally, number 8, educate yourself. Like with this movie.
Keep watching. Don't turn this movie off.
Exactly. Maybe give it another look if it hasn't broken yet. But
read that sentence again, the movie.
Yeah, exactly. But how do you know? I'm sure the cops at home listening to this episode are wondering, how do you know if a murder is a Satan murder? Well, we're here to help. And you can tell this dude's serious because he's lost the sweaters altogether, and we've learned that his button down is even worse than his sweaters.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's also inside a dream sequence from Saved by the Bell with like Greek columns and like weird gray fake shit everywhere.
What the fuck was? But that is nowhere near the weirdest thing about the scene.
Oh, no.
And that would be hot demonstration chick in a bikini.
In a bikini or in a checkered bikini?
Checkered, of course, obviously, because we have taste.
And this is clearly a family member, right? There's
that he
no
wanted
way
to touch.
This man knows this woman unless they're related.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling she was hired as a model. Now, we have to emphasize, there is no purpose that this woman serves except that this guy wanted to touch a hot chick in a bikini. Yep. Right? She is here so he can demonstrate. He can be like, here's the kind of wounds that you would look for. And I have an almost naked girl here so that I can point to things like neck and head when I'm talking about them.
Yeah, it's a little too subtle for me to explain without fondling a live woman right now. Right. You guys won't get it. In fairness, though, this is a lot like the stepdad porn I'm into. We're being honest.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, okay, so let's get real. And he finishes groping his way down, and then he's like, sometimes they cut their feet and peel them, and then like a fucking afterthought. I cannot emphasize how much
this is the greatest moment of all time.
He goes, and sometimes they put a penis in the mouth of a dead person. Anyways, now you know how to drive.
After like 80s, and again, he's like, there'll sometimes be wounds on the upper chest, and he's like very clearly fondling her tits as he says that or whatever. And then at the very end, he says, also, sometimes you'll find a penis in their mouth. And you know the camera cut away right then. They're like, dude, Gordon, you can't. No.
Penis in mouth. That's kind of complicated. Penis in mouth. Some of you don't know calculus. Let me show you what that. I'll demonstrate. In terms of inside of ass. Here's what you want to look for inside of ass. Cut. Okay, we got it.
Now I'm going to put my finger in her ass. You'll see it relaxes
but the satanic polyps. Satanic polyps are real. We need to. I will show you. Just keep rolling, please. This is my video. I bought the VHS tapes, SLP, super long play.
Holy shit. Yeah, no, honestly, like if this whole video was just to get this girl in there so that they could see the look on her face when he said, and sometimes there'll be a penis in the mouth, then I would understand, right? Then the motivation for this would be okay.
Her eyes just slam open. She stands up.
No, hold on.
And she's out.
Oh. Don't you wish so bad that as a prank? So he reveals her she's under a sheet at the beginning, and he reveals her. How great would it be if she switched out for a fat dude just to fuck with him? Make him do the whole thing?
In the checkered bikini?
I thought she was gonna like walk out of she'd be like, penis in the mouth. She walks out of the frame, and then in the next scene, there's just a cop dressed in the bikini lying there. Anyways, penis in the mouth. Get off me, George. You get off me, man. All right? I'm having a hard day. I got yelled at.
I gotta say, like, I thought the movie was over and everything. I thought pretty much we'd gotten all the fun we were going to get out of it. And then he just pulls back this burlap sack and has this hot chick just laying there in a bikini. And I'm like, this just got weird. And my God, was it worth it? Holy shit. That, like, I wrote in my notes just in big block letters, all caps, bolded and increased in font size. That was the greatest moment of all the moments. I can't do this anymore.
I'd give anything if that could have just been me and Eli rubbing nipples and he has uncovers it. All right, let's demo.
We can remake this video. It costs nothing. We can get the outfits and the wigs. People, get a GoFundMe together. This is a $200 one-day shoot. This is not hard.
Of everything we've ever done, everything we've joked about remaking, this is the one that is least likely to turn out to be a joke. Like, I could really see us doing this one.
Oh, God.
So now it's time for Gordon to wrap things up by reminding us that no community is ever safe from Satanism. They're right behind you.
Yeah,
they're coming to get you. Ooga booga booga. They will kill your family.
Next victim could be anybody. Maybe somebody who got tricked into wearing a bikini for a really weird video. You never know who it could be.
Stop dropping Satanism.
Yeah. Also, this is such a weird note, but why do dumb people always pronounce heinous with so many syllables?
I believe how he said it.
It was something like that.
They pretty clearly think that word means like a hyena. Or hyena anus.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah, it's one or the other. All right, well, I know this isn't technically a horror movie, but have you ever seen anything more terrifying?
Oh.
I mean, the tweet that Ted Cruz liked, because then you had to think about Ted Cruz masturbating, that might have been more terrifying. But,
I felt closer to Ted Cruz than I've ever felt before.
I agree.
No,
imagine the Fan of the Opera masturbating during that show. Like, I feel like there'd be like some cool moments where that could have happened.
Yeah, no, that would have been a better video to watch. But no, but the
swings
idea...
across the chandelier while he's doing it. Get the whole audience.
All right, never mind. Again. That's the video we're remaking.
I'm so sorry. You guys opened it now? Of all the times I've been under this stage for 30 fucking years, and now is when you open it. Great.
I was doing cool shit earlier. So, okay. In closing, I want to ask you this. In addition to ritually homicidal Satanists, what other fictional groups of people should police be on the lookout for, and what crimes are they most likely to commit?
Oh, Smurfs and smurfing little kids, obviously.
Clearly.
What about the violent left? They trap you in their safe space, and you can never leave.
Okay, well, lots of blame on all sides. Just let's be skeptical,
clearly.
Eli. See what you're doing.
Both sides.
Yeah. And well, that's going to do it for our review of the Law Enforcement Guide to Satanic Cults. That's not going to do it for the episode just yet, because we still need to sucker you back in for another download. So, Eli, tell us, what's on deck?
Well, we're going to be traveling next week, and we want some time for the turnaround. So we've got yet another Agent Emmis for you. Agent Emmis 2, Rabbi Napped.
Oh, please tell me we're going to get Moishi back for that one.
Oh, we're getting Moishi. I hope we get Moishi.
Awesome.
I made it for Moishi.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. All right. Awesome. So with that to look forward to, we're going to bring episode 109 to a merciful close. Once again, a huge thanks to all the Patreon donors that help make the show go. If you'd like to count yourself among their ranks, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/godawful and thereby earn early access to an ad-free version of every episode. You can also help us a ton by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes and by sharing the show on all your various social media platforms. And if you enjoyed this show, be sure to check out our sibling shows, The Scathing Atheist, The Skeptocrat, and Citation Needed, available on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever else podcasts live. If you have questions, comments, or cinematic suggestions, you can email godawfulmovies@gmail.com. Legal services for this podcast are provided by the law offices of P. Andrew Torres. Our theme song was written and performed by Ryan Slotnick of Evil Drafts on Mars. All other music was written and performed by our audio engineer, Morgan Clark, and was used with permission. Thanks again for giving us a chunk of your life this week. For Heath Enwright and Eli Bosnick, I'm Noah Lugeons, promising to work hard to earn another chunk next week. Until then, we'll leave you with a Breakfast Club close.
The Satanists and the homosexuals eventually joined forces in that park and flooded the entire southeast.
Is that what happened? Eric Pryor's mullet walked under a freshly painted ladder and then got raped by a French skunk.
None of this
Rough mullet.
was real. None of it.
None of it. Not a goddamn way.
None. Oh, come on.
Walking?
Walking.
The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle and a Thunderstorm LLC, copyright 2017, all rights reserved.